Nebojša Slijepčević. Thank you very much for being here with us today. Could you please tell us a little bit about the film to begin with? I think it's based on a true story, so maybe
Yes.
What did catch your interest for this?
Yes, well, thank you for having me. The name of my film is The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent, and it is based on a true event that took place 30 years ago during war in ex-Yugoslavia. And this specific event happened in Bosnia when a civilian train was stopped by Serbian paramilitary forces. They entered the train and started taking off the train the passengers who had names who sounded Muslim. So it was part of ethnical cleansing operation when they just were taking off the train and they were taking away all the passengers that were not Christians. And one of the other passengers, only one of the passengers stood up to them. And this man is named Tomo Buzov. Unfortunately, he lost his life on that day, but what he did was so heroic in a way, because he was just also a civilian, middle-aged father going on a train going to visit his son, and he tried to protect one of the other passengers from this militia forces, and he succeeded in that, but he lost his life. And I thought, and my producers and our whole crew, we all thought that his act is worth remembering, that this is such a horrible story, but something this brave character is worth remembering, you know. But also, when you see the film, also I found something very universal, although it takes place 30 years ago, you know. I think it talks about the present time as well, and I think it could be understood even by someone who has no idea about the war in Bosnia or ex-Yugoslavia and who has no interest in history. This is not a history lesson, this film. It is just a human story about one horrible situation and how different people cope with this such a stressful, horrible, life-threatening situation.
In which way do you think that it connects to today's world? Where is the parallel?
Well, for me, the most interesting thing was not actually not even these paramilitary forces, not the victims, not even Tomo Buzov, but all the other passengers who were silent just silent witnesses of the crime that was taking place in front of their eyes, you know. And this is something that I can identify with, you know, and I think all of us sometimes find ourselves in a situation, of course, not necessarily that we witness war crime, but that we witness some violence that is intended towards someone who is not us, you know. So we are we can just stay silent witnesses and not do anything in this situation, which is actually the choice most of us make. You know I did it sometimes, and but then there is the question how to look yourself in the mirror the next day. This is so you also whatever you choose, there are some consequences in situations like that.
It's an interesting moral point. One thing that I can't really understand, because I do not speak any of the languages from ex-Yugoslavia, but I guess that the language itself is important in the film. The way they speak, the kind of languages they speak in the film. If maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. It's just a guess.
Well, actually, this is a big political question in our area. You know, do we speak the same language, or are there different languages? You know, for me, Serbs, Croats, Bosniaks, Montenegrin people, all of us, we speak one same language. You know, which is like, of course, each part of ex-Yugoslavia has some specific dialect of this language. You know, but this is all the same language. We understand each other perfectly, and actually in this film, and it is very often like that, you know, you cannot find the difference between Serbs and Croats and Bosniaks by the way they speak or by the way they look. You know, we're all the same. Like so, in my film, this paramilitary militia tries to find out who is Christian and who is not by asking specific questions about religion. Like they make a very cynical, and it is taken from a true event. In preparing this film, I read more than 1,000 pages of different testimonies of people who were on a train, or from journalists who examined this case. And all the characters and everything that you see in the film is based on these testimonies. It is a fictional film because characters are fictionalized, but it is very much based on reality.
And are you going to do anything else with those testimonies? Because the film has been really successful. It won the main prize, the Palme d'Or in Cannes. So I guess you've got offers to do new films. Maybe.
Yeah, well, this is something that I got asked a lot, and I agree that this specific event has potential to be not only the feature film, but TV series, I would say, because it's you have many different destinies, and individual stories that intervene. On that day, 19 passengers, 19 civilians were killed on that day. So, but I personally have no interest in working on that story anymore, because actually, for me, this short film, although it's only 13.5 minutes long, I felt that I said everything that I have say on this topic. So, but I would be very interested to see if someone else makes something bigger from this material.
Okay, let's come back to your film now. And I wanted to ask you about two very specific things that really stand out to me. One of them is the usage of the off-screen. We don't really see the crime at all, but we perfectly understand what's going on, and that creates such a tension in the film. So why did you decide to shoot the film this way?
Well, first, of course, this is like things that you don't see are more threatening, more frightening than what you see. It is like that, but also I wanted to do a couple of things. First, I wanted to put the audience in the shoes of someone who was on that train, who did not expect anything bad to happen. It was a civilian train, on the everyday route going from one part of the country to another. That people were just did not expect that a war crime could happen, in front of their eyes. So, and they just discover what's happening in the same way. I wanted to put the audience in the same shoes that they discovered together with the passengers. What's happening, and to try to deny it, because it's also very human. When you witness something horrible, first you don't believe it's happening. Say no, it's so. What do they try to? Our characters in the film, they just try to ignore it. They just try to continue read their books or whatever they do during the train journey, and not pay attention to what's happening on a corridor of a train and what's happening outside of the train, and until these soldiers come to their compartments, then they cannot ignore it anymore. So, but I wanted to actually illustrate that feeling of ignorance, of trying to ignore the reality.
And then you said it that you want to put the spectator in the shoes of these people. So the actors are really important in the film as well. There are so many close-ups, and it's so difficult for an actor to convey all those feelings. So how did you approach the casting, and how did you work with the actors?
Well, the main role in the film was played fantastically by Goran Bogdan. He's the actor that I admired a lot. I've never worked with him before, but he was my first choice, and I would say only choice for the main role in the film. And luckily, he agreed, because if he hasn't agreed, I would be in trouble, And because I needed someone, his task, what I asked him to do, is extremely difficult. Most of the film is camera is in close-up on his face, and he tries to play it cool all the time, but during the film, something breaks inside him. In this very short period of time, in this 13 minutes, he's completely changed for life. And he also tries not to show it on the outside. So I needed an actor who can act it, that you feel that something breaks in him just by watching him in close up and watching him how he tries to hide it, which is very difficult. And there is no cutaway, there is no montage in this part, you just watch the man in the eyes. And I knew that Goran Bogdan can do it, and because I've seen him in some other films doing it, and I really wanted him. And he played it beautifully, we talked a lot about the script. We improved it together thanks to him, because the script I would say was good, but then talking to Goran and talking to other actors, we on our reading rehearsals, we just improved it by removing some sentences, adding a little bits, and doing it more subtle in this process. And I got many great actors, in this film. It's a short film, but we have many speaking roles, and we had a great French actor who speaks fluently Serbian, Croatian, Alexis Manenti. He plays the Serbian soldier, also very powerful. His energy is unbelievable. He's just frightening just by looking at you. You get frightened. And also, great Serbian actor Dragan Mićanović, who is right now has one of the biggest Serbian stars, and he played a very general, small role in the film. He's almost invisible for the big part of the film until he speaks up, and then he takes over the whole scene. And Silvio Mumelaš, young Croatian actor who is playing the victim. So I had, I would say, a lot of great actors packed in one small compartment of the train.
You were really lucky.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Nebojša. It's been a pleasure, and I hope the film keeps playing like this. It's a great one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.